Welcome back to ESPN Saturday Night Football on ABC. Kansas State won the toss, deferred their option to the second half, so Oklahoma State will start with the football. Bob Wischusen, Matt Millman upstairs, and Quinn Kesnick downstairs. Quinn?
Oklahoma State tonight will be playing without their leading rusher, Desmond Rowland. He's got over 500 yards and 7 rushing touchdowns. He's at home with his family after the passing of his mother earlier this week. Enter Tyreek Hill. Matt mentioned him earlier in the open. Junior college transfer with world-class speed. He's a big play every time he touches the ball, but still very much a work in progress. Needs to develop patience and improve in pass protection. And you'll also see Rennie Childs tonight, who's back in the lineup after a bruised knee, kept him out a couple weeks. He's a power runner, one cut and go, a kid who hits the hole pretty hard. Cowboys' success, Bob, starts tonight on the ground.
And Quinn, our opportunity to send our condolences to the family of Desmond Rowland on the passing of his mom. So Desmond, from all of us here at ESPN to all of you and yours, our condolences. And we are underway here in Manhattan. Hill from a yard deep, thought about it for a moment, and after second guessing brings it out, comes up short of the 20-yard line, brought down at about the 17. So Dax Garman, 11 touchdowns against 9 interceptions. And Matt, he has committed multiple turnovers in each of his last 5 games. Still learning, and was not supposed to be the starter this year for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, but he is. And the turnovers are what has been killing him and this team. And so he's been getting them in double doses, too, as a matter of fact. He cannot do that tonight and expect to have success. He just needs to take exactly what Kansas State will give them, and they will give him stuff.
Tyreek Hill, Jeremy Seaton flanking Garman. 1st and 10 from the 16. Hill runs into a wall of purple on 1st down. May have picked up a yard. Driven back by Travis Britz. And let's take a look at our impact players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Well, you start talking about Tyreek Hill. You mentioned it earlier about him being a big play. It can happen at any time. He has tremendous speed once he gets to the edge. Jonathan Truman is the picture of consistency. He's done it all season long. He's their top tackler, and with good reason.
Draw play. Hill's got speed. He can turn the corner, tiptoes in bounds, and it looks to be good enough for an Oklahoma State 1st down. Stepped out right at the 26-yard line, and it looks like without measurement he'll pick up the 1st down.
Okay, this is the speed we're talking. We're talking world class. I'll tell you who he reminds me of when he was at University of Pittsburgh. LaShawn McCoy. Same type of thing. He's got that kind of speed, and guys who have speed, they try to get to the edge outside right away. He has to figure out he'll be a runner inside and then use his speed.
Garman's first throw underneath, wide open Marcel Aitman, and he muscles his way to the 1st down marker. Picks up 9 on 1st down. Danzel McDaniel bumped him out.
Okay, so this is what Kansas State will do. Kansas State will not beat themselves. They will expect you to try to be very patient. They'll give you underneath things. If you're looking at them, see they're playing the safeties back. They're saying, go ahead and run. We'll let you down the field. Good throw underneath. Then we'll play good red zone defense and get off the field. So you must be patient when playing this defense.
A little toss to the edge. Hill with a cutback. He's got room. Spins near midfield. Another Oklahoma State 1st down. Dante Barnett made the stop after a gain of 12.
Okay, so you can see they're spinning their safety down. Number 20 as he comes down. Now Hill, that time, very patient. Letting things develop. That's what he needs to do more of. Don't be in a rush to get outside. Your opportunity will come, and when that happens, that's when you hit your burst.
Garman right at the seam for Hill, drops it in stride. And just like that, the Cowboys are in the red zone. Jonathan Truman could not stay with Tyreek Hill. Hey, if you can, he's got that kind of speed.
Yeah, but that's actually not bad coverage. This is a tough thing to be able to handle. Truman's got to see him and run right down the middle of that field. They have their safety split. One of the holes in the cover 2 is right down the middle. They took advantage of it. Good protection, nice throw by Garman.
So Matt, already the situation that you knew would come. and that is Oklahoma State in the red zone. Can they get 7 instead of 3?
Now look at the covers. Now everything's tight. Everything's up. Angles change down here. Coverage change.
Diamond formation, and they throw out of it to the true freshman James Washington. He gets inside the 15 to about the 13-yard line for a gain of 5. And Oklahoma State in the red zone. This is their 31st trip this season. In the previous 30 trips, only 13 touchdowns. That's not the kind of red zone touchdown percentage that Mike Gundy's teams in the past have put up.
They look to the left now automatically. Now they're kicking it over. They're kicking coverage back to the top side to even it up. Light box inside. See if they don't run at it.
Draw play. The C's part. Inside the 5-yard line, down to the 3 goes Tyreek Hill at his 1st and goal. And this might be uncharted waters for both of these teams, because on opening drives, Oklahoma State hasn't scored a touchdown and Kansas State hasn't given one up. But there it is, the first for both. Right up the middle, untouched. Tyreek Hill puts the Pokes on top.
That was just simple. That choose was exactly what we spoke about prior to the game. They needed to be patient and take what Kansas State's defense would give them. I mentioned to you having a light box. There it is. There's not enough numbers up inside, so there's not very many defenders at the line of scrimmage because you have everybody spread out. So you run right at it, and the result was nice. 6 points.
8 plays, 84 yards, and it couldn't have looked much easier for Oklahoma State. Ben Grogan right down the middle. A 3-yard touchdown run for Tyreek Hill. Oklahoma State in a nasty atmosphere here in Manhattan quiets the crowd. A flawless opening drive for Oklahoma State on the road here in Manhattan. They've got the touchdown lead, 8 plays. They march right down the field, and in case you missed the touchdown run a moment ago by Tyreek Hill, and that drive engineered by Dax Garman. Video of the touchdown now posted on the SportsCenter app, available on your mobile devices and tablets whenever you're in need. Bob Wischusen, Matt Millen, Quinn Kesnick here in Manhattan. And this was a loud crowd, but not so now. They have quieted down as the Cats are about to get the football for the first time. Tyler Lockett, a very dangerous return man. They'll try and keep it away from him if they can. They'll kick it to Morgan Burns instead. He gets a slow start, but has room. Morgan Burns splits the special teams coverage unit, and he is gone. Just like that, Kansas State on the board.
A lot of times when there's a mishandled ball or a little hesitation, guys get messed up in their running lanes because they see a ball and they get out of the lane and create it. And here it is. Morgan Burns sees it right away. As soon as he dropped that, it kind of skewed to the left and it opened it up. And all it takes is one man out of his lane. Burns found it.
Matthew McCrane sneaks through the point after. We have yet to see Kansas State's offense on the field, and we've seen 2 touchdowns already. Oklahoma State starts with a touchdown drive, and the Wildcats answer right back on the Burns kickoff return.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. AT&T, mobilizing your world. And Dr. Pepper, always one of a kind.
The Oklahoma State Cowboys are in town, but they've got Cowboys here at K-State as well. The K-State rodeo team competes in the Central Plains region. And Tanner Bruner, a senior in animal science, won the steer wrestling title in the Central Plains region this year. And we're deadlocked at 7 again. Kansas State with a kickoff return for a touchdown a moment ago by Morgan Burns. So now Oklahoma State about to get the football right back as their very impressive opening drive was quickly erased on special teams. From the goal line, Tyreek Hill. He found an alley, but not nearly, Matt Millen, as wide as the alley that Morgan Burns found a moment ago.
Well, sometimes what happens when you drop it, guys get out of their lanes because they're looking up ahead. So here's what has to happen. They have to come straight down. And when you're facing the guy who's going to block you, and they block you a certain way, you have to fight back across their face. In this instance, that's Curry Sexton, number 14, with a fantastic block right there, and Weston Hybert, number 17, right there, and there's the difference in the play. Just that horizontal separation creates a lane, and Burns was able to take advantage of it.
And interesting how the timing can be thrown off by the return man dropping the ball.
Exactly.
Rennie Childs just back for the first time since he was injured against Kansas 3 games ago. Had not played for the last 3 games before tonight, but he's back in the lineup. He picks up 6 there, of course, as Quint Kesnick mentioned before kickoff. Desmond Rowland, mourning the passing of his mom, is back home in Texas, and he is not with the team tonight here in Manhattan. Screen behind the pressure to James Washington, and the true freshman has a first down.
Shoes, here's another guy that Oklahoma State has that they can take advantage of what he brings to the table. This Washington kid's got great speed, and he's got an ability with the ball in his hands to make a play, but he still needs to learn how to play this game. He doesn't quite have the awareness that you want, but he's getting there.
Garmin on the slam, perfectly thrown and spinning for a first down is Jawan Seals. He was suspended for last week's game. That led to James Washington getting his first career start. Now Seals is back, and that gives Mike Gundy another weapon.
That gives Dax Garmin another weapon. Right now we're watching Dax Garmin at his best, and he's being patient, and he's just taking exactly what this defense is allowing to be given. This is smart football by Dax Garmin.
A pitch to the edge to Tyreek Hill. Close to another first down.
I love what they're doing right now, Shoes. This is really smart. Both safeties sitting back. All right, we're going to run at it. You're going to drop a guy down. All right, we're going to throw out there. Oh, you're going to overload one side. We're coming back to the other side. All they're doing is trying to create a play where the numbers favor them, and that's very well done by Mike Gundy's staff.
Another throw to the edge, this time a stumble by Seals. It will be second down and 10. And do you think that Dax Garmin, from a play calling standpoint, from a check with me standpoint, is going to be able to exhibit that kind of patience all night based on what we saw on film of his progress this season?
No, he hasn't shown it, and that's why we've said it's his consistency that will determine the team's consistency. This whole offense is on the shoulders of Dax Garmin. So far, so good. Blitz off the edge.
It's picked up. Garmin takes a shot at the end zone. Drops it in, and it's broken up. Intended for Washington. There's a flag on the play in the offensive backfield. Randall Evans, the nickel corner. Excellent coverage, step for step with Washington. We'll have to check the penalty, and it will go against the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's Garmin's first mistake. He had it. He had a one-on-one. He had leverage on the defender, and he threw it towards the defender. You've got to throw it to the middle of the field, and he had 6.
Holding, number 50, offense. The penalty is declined. It's third down.
So an interesting decision as Bill Snyder takes the down rather than the yardage and makes it third down and 10 rather than second down and 20. Blitz shown off the edge, and here they come again. Garmin in trouble. And the pressure gets there. Down he goes. That was well timed up by Kansas State. Garmin either didn't recognize it quickly enough or didn't have time to react and check out.
And I think it's a combination of the both. He's not the fleetest of foot. And this is all new for him. And when he's struggled, it's been when teams have brought pressure. And you're going to see the pressure come back inside and here. So they're bringing 3 extra players. So that's a seven-man blitz against a 5-man protection, and you're losing numbers.
And how about this call by Mike Gundy? Leaves the offense out there in that gray area to go for it on 4th and 10.
See if they pick it up.
K-State shows blitz again. Play clock at 2.
Get to the top side. It's there.
Only a 4-man rush. Garmin throws an interception.
It's on him. Completely on him, Shoes.
Dante Barnett picks it off. It doesn't matter. He knocks it down. It's a 4th down stop nonetheless.
Yeah. He needed to go to the top side or the left side. There were 3 receivers. If they were going to do anything, it's going to come from back here. Now, understand that it's 3rd and 11, and that's fine. This is here right away, but as the receiver comes open, the ball needed to be thrown there because the safety's sitting inside. Don't let him come all the way across. You throw it right into the defender. He sees it now. Throw it now. He waited a little too long.
So Kansas State gets the 4th down stop, and this is the first time on the field for Jake Waters and Kansas State's offense. And he'll throw on 1st down, and he wants a deep ball for Curry Sexton. And it's broken up. A flag out. It happened right in front of Mike Gundy. He can't believe it. Now an officials conference as Mike Gundy wants to back his sideline up, so he's the lone voice of opposition heard. Trey Flowers, the redshirt freshman strong safety, was there in coverage.
There is no foul for defensive pass interference.
That's very good officiating.
At the same time, the ball arrived. It's 2nd down.
That was a great example of how the game should be officiated. Okay, there's the ball. You look when he looks, you reach when he reaches, and now they all see it. Then they had their caucus, they had the discussion, and it's a no foul, a good call.
Now, a moment ago, we saw Dax Garmin throw the interception, albeit on 4th down. That's something Jake Waters hasn't done in 4+ games. He's got 147 touches now without a turnover, going back to the 4th quarter of the Auburn game. 2nd down and 10. Long throw to the sideline. Doing the toe tap for a 1st down is Curry Sexton.
Curry Sexton, of course, had that big block on the touchdown return from Burns. And they like to use their starters in special teams role. And Sexton's one of those guys who's just a good football player. And you watch the film of that kid, and he has a great sense of the game, always knows where he's supposed to be.
Previous play ruling of a completed pass is under further review.
Looked like a clean catch, but they'll make sure.
Just for the record, that's a long throw. They went 3-on-2, and they were going to give that long throw from hash mark to the sideline up, and they took it. Let's see if he has control and then a foot down inside. There's the control. And yeah, that's a catch.
It's about as clean as it gets.
Yeah.
So we don't expect that this review will take too long. That's good in the NFL.
One thing that you notice whenever you watch Kansas State, as long as Coach Bill Snyder has been here, they do not beat themselves. It's a team that forces you to be patient, forces you to play all game long without making mistakes.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. Completed pass.
So Curry Sexton does indeed pick up 11 yards in the 1st down. And let's take a look at the impact players offensively.
I'm looking forward to this tonight.
Kansas State brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Oh, sorry, Shoes. Tyler Lockett and Kevin Peterson. Kevin Peterson's an outstanding corner. Tyler Lockett's looking to break every receiving record here at Kansas State held by his father. And Tyler Lockett is a big play waiting to happen, and Kevin Peterson is up for the challenge.
Kevin Peterson last week locked up Kevin White of West Virginia. Held him to 3 catches for 27 yards. An equally big challenge tonight with Lockett. Waters skips up in the pocket, takes a hit, and is still able to spin forward for about 2 yards. And our first chance to head back to the studio and say hi to Chris Cotter.
Hello, Bob. Matt, time for Taco Bell studio update. Another one of those one-loss teams. Ohio State in action at home against Illinois. Curtis Samuel taking it around the right side, 23 yards untouched. 7-0 Buckeyes right now over on that Watch ESPN app, guys.
Well, Chris, we're tied at 7. Oklahoma State and Kansas State midway through the first quarter here in Manhattan. Low snap scooped up by Waters. Long throw. Fighting for the football and making the catch is Tyler Lockett. Thrown down. Crowd looking for a call. Ramon Richards was there in coverage, about 2 yards shy of the first down. And Quint's down there as well. Quint getting a look at Jake Waters. He's probably not 100% healthy right now. How does he look from field level?
That last throw had some zip on it, and it was a tight spiral. I watched him in warm-ups. He seems pretty good. You know, he injured that shoulder 2 weeks ago against Oklahoma. Right shoulder, the AC joint. And I think the biggest focus for Oklahoma State is just trying to tackle him. He only carried the ball 7 times last week, and it's kind of clear that Kansas State's trying to limit his tackles.
They get the snap off on 3rd down, and it is a conversion. Another catch made by Curry Sexton. So a strong throw outside the numbers again by Waters in front of Jordan Stearns for Oklahoma State.
This is maybe, for Bill Snyder, when you watch him, you say, no coach in all of college football does more with less than that man right there. Bill Snyder, he's a phenomenal coach. He sticks to exactly what he knows he can do and what his players can do. He's probably the best evaluator of what his guys can do, and he asks them to do that, and he's highly successful.
Design quarterback run for Waters, and he finds some room. Dodging tacklers, close to a first down. Well, when Kansas State put together their roster, just say when they went into the Auburn game, for instance, they had 58 current or former walk-ons, and 7 of which had become regular starters. Jake Waters, arguably, you know, as a scholarship player, the most important to this offense, but 2 of his most important offensive linemen are walk-ons.
He's figured it out, and he figured it out a long time ago.
Waters runs again, plenty of room. Another first down and more. To the 20-yard line before he steps out.
Well, to answer Quinn's question about where he is physically, there's your answer. And now, not only Waters is going to think he's fine, but the coaching staff thinks he's fine. You don't put him in those situations unless you've seen that he's able to handle it physically. And so they're using his feet, and it's an element that really opens this offense.
First and 10, K-State from the Cowboy 21.
Play clock at 2. Down to 1, and they just get the snap off. Waters with a pump fake. Thought about the end zone. Looks for the back of the end zone instead. Dragging the feet, but out of bounds was Deontay Burton. Just that close to a go-ahead score for K-State.
But more than that, all kinds of time to be able to survey the field. He was able to look to the right side and then to the back of the end zone because that offensive line, void of any superstar players, just a fantastic unit. And the net result was this, probably 8 inches away from having 6.
They're going to review it. They're going to see if the very tip of the right toe dragged for Deontay Burton, which would be a touchdown. He had control of the football. It's just a question of whether or not he had the ball in his possession and was able to just drag that right foot.
So lost in all this is the Big 12's top pass rusher in terms of getting sacks is over there in Ogbu for Oklahoma State. There's the catch, and it looks like his left foot was on the white already. See it? Looks like the left foot comes down and hits the white right there.
It was ruled an incompletion on the field, so it's hard to imagine that what we just saw would overturn the call on the field.
After further review, field stands, incomplete pass.
Good call. But Ogbe, hey, he's got to do something if they're going to do anything with a 4-man rush. He's leading the conference in sacks with 8. And in this series, no one has gotten anywhere near quarterback.
He's number 3 for defensive linemen in the country in sacks and tackles for loss, so he can be an impact player. But there are times where it looks like his effort level doesn't necessarily match those statistics. 5-man rush. Waters well protected, but the ball batted down at the line. Might have been James Castleman. Ogba was in the middle with a hand up as well. And those are some big bodies in there for the Pokes. 3rd down and 10 just outside the red zone.
There's Ogba. He's just a sophomore. Number 38's got nice long arms. When he gets a great first 2 steps, he's dangerous.
Might be a free play. And why not take a shot at the end zone? And another flag comes out. It looked as if at the snap, Oklahoma State was in the neutral zone. And if that's the case, Waters threw it up in the end zone knowing he had a free play. And a flag came out maybe for pass interference as well. Kevin Peterson trying to stay with Tyler Lockett.
Looked like Peterson was on top. Had position. Let's see what they do.
There were 2 fouls during the play, offside, number 95 defense. That penalty is declined.
Whoops.
Pass interference, number 1 defense. First down.
It's Peterson on Lockett, what we wanted to see. Now he's playing off coverage. So he has to establish his position, which, okay, he pushes him. He was in great shape. All he had to do was play the ball. He didn't have to touch him.
Smart play by Waters. Knew he had a free play with Levaney in the neutral zone. So now it's 1st and goal for Kansas State at the 6. They line up in the Wildcat. Direct snap coming to Charles Jones. Jones finds room. Touchdown, Wildcats. 10th rushing touchdown for Charles Jones. And 8 of his 10 touchdowns have come from the Wildcat formation.
Patience by Jones and impatience by the defense. Ogba jumps down inside when he needs to maintain leverage on the outside and squeeze it. Instead, he crosses his face and comes over and opens the running lane.
So Kansas State with a special teams touchdown and now a 10-play, 73-yard touchdown drive. Nice job by Charles Jones to scoop up the snap and walk in for the score. The selection committee will be meeting again, and Tuesday night we will find out who's in. College Football Playoff Top 25 Rankings Show presented by Capital One. Tuesday night, 7:30 on ESPN. And watch ESPN. We will reveal the rankings. And when the rankings came out this past week, there were a couple of mild surprises. Maybe Notre Dame was a little lower than some expected. Maybe Kansas State jumping up a little higher than some expected, but undefeated in the Big 12. Bob Wischusen, Matt Millen, Quinn Kesnick here in Manhattan. And Matt, with TCU, with Baylor, with West Virginia still on K-State's schedule, even if they win tonight against Oklahoma State, they still have a gauntlet between themselves and maybe a spot in the Final Four.
Yeah, and they're starting to play their best football.
Let's go back to the touchdown and see why it was so easy for Charles Jones.
Yeah, well, it all comes down to 2 things. One is you have to understand gap responsibility. Tautau's on the inside. He has the guard. Right here, this backer has to come down and attack and maintain. And on the outside, Ogba has to take that tight end, force him inside, and hold the outside. And he doesn't do that. When the ball's dropped, he'll jump right there. See how he jumped down inside, right to the inside? That allows him to get to the edge And just that little lack of patience, that lack of discipline gives up a score.
Dax Garman showing patience and picks up about 10 yards and a first down to David Glidden, who's brought down right at the 35-yard line. And so far, Dax Garman, other than being stopped on downs on the last possession for Oklahoma State, they've moved the ball, and he has taken what has been offered by the K-State defense.
And that's going to have to be from play to play. He's going to have to fight that urge to take a shot, because they're going to give him things, and so you just take it. Here it is again. Safety sitting deep. Just run at this.
That's just what they'll do. Not much room there in the middle for Tyreek Hill. Jonathan Truman, leading tackler for Kansas State, made the stop. And Mike Gundy, 8 straight bowls, 4 wins in bowl games in 10 years at Oklahoma State. He was the 2010 Big 12 Coach of the Year, the 2011 Bear Bryant National Coach of the Year when the Pokes won their first Big 12 title. But this has been an offensive struggle unlike we've ever seen, really, in Stillwater under Mike Gundy. With a backup quarterback and injuries, but there's youth that shows promise. And Tyreek Hill is a great example of that youth showing promise. As he goes up the middle for about 7, and he is now down and hurt.
Rennie Childs is just back from injury. We talked about him earlier, but he's a different style. But this takes away their explosiveness with Hill.
It looked like on the tackle, Valentino Coleman rolled up on the ankles of Tyreek Hill. His head bounced off the turf pretty hard as well. And it looks like they're taking a look at the lower leg of Hill. But he's a track star, so he needs every bit of the speed he has. He's really a great story. I mean, a 5-star recruit that went the community college route and then got a look at the recently opened $10 million track and field facility at Oklahoma State and said, you know what, this place is for me. And he not only enrolls in January, but it didn't take him long to make an impact in track and field, because by February he was the Big 12 indoor champion in the 200 meters. So that is a speed merchant right now that at least is able to walk off the field. We'll see if he can get back in the game.
And here's the distinction that has to be made. He's a football player who also runs track. He's not a track guy who happens to play football. There's a big difference. And the difference is from the neck up. Most track guys have a track attitude and they're void of toughness. This kid, he's got it.
You can already see he's got a football attitude as he wants to stand right next to Mike Gundy and get himself back in the game. Big play though, 3rd down and 3. Rennie Childs takes the place of Hill in the backfield next to Garman. 4-man rush. Garman runs out of time and goes down. Travis Britz gets the sack and the 3rd down stop for Kansas State.
They still kept that 2-shell, but they covered every receiver. There was nowhere for Garman to be able to see. So you could see they're rushing 4. The 5th guy, Truman, comes. That's because he has coverage on the back. But down the field, every guy, the 4 receivers, blanketed. Nowhere to go. The result's a sack.
Kip Smith wants to keep it away from Tyler Lockett if he can. First punt of the game for either team as Smith has a problem handling the snap, eventually gets it away, and it takes a pretty fortunate Oklahoma State bounce forward, out of bounds at the Kansas State 31-yard line. If there was any kind of a punt block on that time for Kansas State, they would have gotten home as Kip Smith fumbled the snap.
Every time you watch Kansas State, you just can't help but be impressed with how they go about their business. They're never too high, they're never too low, they're always even-keeled. They do exactly what they're coached to do. They're fundamentally sound. They don't beat themselves. They are a pleasure to watch, and they're a reflection of their coach.
Four-man rush on first down. Waters again well protected. Now flips it out in the right flat. Wide open is the outlet man, the tight end Zach Trujillo, and he's got a first down. As Jake Waters did a good job of maintaining his composure as the pressure started to close in.
Heady play by Waters. Now, this is, there's some things in a quarterback it's really hard to measure. You don't really see it till it shows up, and that's it right there. And that's your ability to have poise under pressure. And when you exhibit that takes you a long way. And Waters got it.
He hasn't committed a turnover since the fourth quarter of the Auburn game, and that, of course, is the only loss for Kansas State this year. On the slant, climbing the ladder, Lockett for 8 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 2 in plus territory for Kansas State.
Shoes, how great a kid was Lockett yesterday. I mean, that kid, you want to say, that's the kind of guy you want to be your son-in-law. That's the kind of guy you wish the best for. That kid's got it. He's just such a fantastic person and a tremendous football player.
A 3-time All-American, and what a well-rounded football player as well. He's a more dangerous return man than he is a wide receiver.
He's an even better person.
Bobbing and weaving his way for a first down is Charles Jones. Great mixture of play calling for Kansas State. They're getting it done through the air and on the ground. There's 8 more for Jones.
Yeah, there.
If I were a Kansas State fan, I would be terrified that that guy at some point might think about hanging it up. He is 75 years old. He's about 25 years old in mind and spirit, but he can't do this forever. And the only sample size the Kansas State fans have of success is when he's been their coach.
He is a terrific coach. I mean, he gets it from top to bottom.
Kansas State making it look awfully easy, picking up 7 more on the handoff to Charles Jones. Ramon Richards made the stop, and that takes us to the end of the first quarter. Bill Snyder's Wildcats on top by a touchdown. We'll return to Manhattan, Kansas, following these messages and a word from our local ABC stations. You're watching ESPN Saturday Night Football on ABC.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
A great first quarter for Kansas State and their offensive line especially, as Bill Snyder's team has a 14-7 lead over Oklahoma State. We met yesterday with B.J. Finney, 2-time first-team All-Big 12 center, a former walk-on, making his 47th straight start tonight. Boy, he's the epitome of a Bill Snyder football player as well. As we open the second quarter with Kansas State in business, 2nd down and 4. Waters, long throw to the edge, Sexton there to bail him out, and steps out of bounds with a first down. But Matt, talking to B.J. Finney, again, a former walk-on. So the diamond in the rough found by Bill Snyder. His only Division I offer out of high school was to Ohio University, not Ohio State, Ohio U. They told him they ran out of scholarships. So he turned down some smaller schools to walk on at Kansas State, even though his mom told him, BJ, you've got 1 year. That's all we can pay for. And Bill Snyder comes through with a scholarship because he believed in his ability. He's become a great player.
And he'll have his opportunity to play on Sundays. He's got that kind of skill. But more importantly, this is just a good, tough, smart player and the leader of that offensive line.
And there goes Jake Waters. As Oklahoma State loses track of the quarterback on the scramble again. He's out of bounds at the 21. That's a gain of 6 more.
So it's not only B.J. Finney in there. See, the one thing about Finney that I love absolutely, and every time I'm watching tape, I'm like, that kid, I know that kid wrestled.
He gets it.
Yeah, he does get it. And he wrestled, and he plays inside. In fact, he was a heck of a high school wrestler. And his right guard right next to him, 68 Luke Hayes, was also an outstanding high school wrestler. Anytime you have an opportunity to get those kids, I would take them.
It'll be 3rd down and about 1 as Jones goes up the middle. Well, the entire offensive line, for the most part, for Kansas State is kind of the island of misfit toys. You know, you get the walk-on in the center, B.J. Finney. Matt Klein-Sorge, the right tackle, is a former walk-on. The right guard, Luke Hayes, was a left tackle in junior college, comes to Kansas State. Now he's playing right guard. The left tackle was a second-team All-Big 12 guard last year, Cody Whitehair. They just mix and match and find a way to get the job done.
That's a credit to Bill Snyder. He takes what you can do, and he puts it into play.
And Waters with the quarterback sneak. Looks like he's got the first down.
And so here's the key. Okay, so there are a lot of guys out there who have individual talents, but what sets Bill Snyder apart is he's able to put them together, and they create some chemistry, and they create a unit that plays well together. That is really difficult to do, and that man has unlocked the secret of that for year after year after year.
Big spot for the Oklahoma State defense now to try to get a stop in the red zone, as Kansas State has made it look awfully easy, marching right down the field again. Waters, again well protected, floats one in the end zone. It's caught along the chalk by Burton, but out of bounds again. Deontay Burton has come that close to catching 2 touchdowns here in the first half, but he's been out of bounds on both as Richards was there.
Well, Richards does a nice job of using the sideline to his advantage. Use it as an extra defender. You're going to force that thing. Once that foot steps on the out of bounds, it's no good. So you shrink the field by forcing the receiver close to the sideline.
Ramon Richards, only a true freshman, forced to play with Ashton Lampkin out again tonight, still nursing an ankle injury. He's been out since Oklahoma State played Texas Tech. Looking at the left pylon for Sexton. It is caught. That's a touchdown. Curry Sexton able to haul it in from Jake Waters to stretch the Kansas State lead.
That's a heck of a throw by Waters. I want to see if he had control all the way through, because that's a heck of a catch, the way he had to adjust to that thing. Here's Sexton. There's the throw. Let's see what happens. Faces it. Bobble, bobble. I can't see from there, but apparently the field judge could. Bobble, bobble. There it is. That's a great call. Good job. Good job officiating here on these edges all night. And a great catch by Sexton.
The replay booth, as we speak, is confirming that it was a touchdown to Curry Sexton. And they're holding things up before the point after attempt. And now they may review.
Ruling of a touchdown is under further review.
Trey Flowers gives up the outside, but clearly he had control. He had a foot in, and he can maintain control all the way through the catch. There's the catch. There's the bobble. There's the control.
And his knee's down as well.
Yeah, so that's good.
Curry Sexton only grew up about 45 minutes away from Manhattan. He used to come to Kansas State games as a kid and sit in section 14. Hence the uniform number that he wears. He was a brilliant high school student, turned down an appointment to Harvard because he wanted to not only play football at Kansas State, but he wanted to play for Bill Snyder.
After further review, the ruling on a touchdown.
And it is a touchdown, and there is section 14. That's dead behind the end zone that Curry Sexton just caught a touchdown in. So he used to sit in that section, and now he's catching touchdowns in front of the fans that used to sit in his old seat.
Thank goodness he didn't sit in section 234. He would have had no shot.
Number 16.
McCrane with another point after. Kansas State with 2 10-play touchdown drives, and they've got a 21-7 lead. pictures that both schools are kind enough to shoot for us during the week as we show just a little snippet of the prep work that brings us to kickoff tonight between Kansas State and Oklahoma State, and the number 9 team in the college football playoff rankings, the Wildcats, with 3 unanswered touchdowns after Oklahoma State marched right down the field to start the game tonight with an easy 8-play scoring drive. It's been 21 unanswered for Kansas State since, and now taking a knee at about the 11-yard line on a short kick is Juwan Seals. So terrible field position now for the Cowboys, and get your NFL Sunday started tomorrow on ESPN at 10 a.m. It's Sunday NFL Countdown presented by Snickers. Host Chris Berman and the gang provide all the latest news right up to kickoff. And before you set your lineups, check our experts out on Fantasy Football Now, presented by Papa John's at 11 a.m. on ESPN News. Both shows are available on Watch ESPN as well. Good news for Oklahoma State. Tyreek Hill is back in the game. But bad news for the Cowboys. They start at their own 11-yard line. Hill right into the heart of the K-State defensive front on first down, picks up about 1.5 yards. Randall Evans was there to help bring him down.
Well, you talk about the middle. That's Travis Britch, number 95. Britch is a guy who's a powerful guy. He sits down inside. He's got very good plays with good leverage. He's got good power, and he has very good violence in his hands. I like to watch him play.
Strong throw by Garmin, and a sliding catch by Aitman at the 20-yard line, 1 yard shy of the first down. They'll actually mark the ball just across the 20, so it's 3rd down and a half yard for Oklahoma State. And they need this first down badly. Down by 14. And they'll get the first down on the juke out on the edge by Tyreek Hill. That showed a little LaShawn McCoy open field movement.
Yeah, this kid's got it. This kid's got some skills. He's got great speed. He just has to develop a little bit more runner's patience and understand that getting to the edge is not the answer all the time.
Toss to the edge. Reversing field is Hill. Gets a block. Tyreek Hill kicks it into another gear and gets the 45-yard line before he's finally brought down by Dante Barnett. That showed some instincts as a runner as he picks up 21.
Very good. Now you're going to watch just as there's nowhere to go, so reverse the direction. Now you can use your speed. There's no one on the field who can run with him, so he takes advantage of it as soon as he sees he has nowhere to go.
And he came up limping again just a bit, so he goes out. And Rennie Childs is back in at tailback. But the training staff not even looking at Tyreek Hill. Under pressure, down goes Dax Garman. It's another sack for Travis Britch.
Guess who? Britch is tough. Britch I like to watch inside. He's just the model of consistency. He just doesn't give up. He starts inside on the center. Starts to get a little help from the outside. You can see him. He's going to be right here. He's going to start working on the edge. You always get to an edge. Never take a full man. He works off both edges and gets a sack.
Garman, he'll try to escape. Lowers his shoulder and gets to about the 42-yard line, but it will be 3rd down and 12. Jonathan Truman brought him down.
Ryan Mueller had the edge. Looked like he got held off the edge. Ryan Mueller, number 44, is pure effort. He's the guy who this whole defense is kind of built the same way, but Mueller kind of exemplifies exactly what they are. High effort, great motor, never quits, gives you everything he has on every play. Fun to watch.
3rd down and a long 12, close to 13. Lob down the sideline, nothing there. Marcel Aitman was walled off by Denzel McDaniel. And the sack ends up really hurting Oklahoma State. They can't rebound from that. And as a result, they have to kick it away. One negative play makes a big difference when you've got an inexperienced quarterback and a team that right now doesn't have a lot of offensive rhythm going.
And that offensive line is struggling. And that's really the whole key. They're not getting much movement. And Kansas State's just saying, look, we're going to keep our safeties back. We don't think you can run on us with 5 men in the box.
Lockett from the 16 gets a block. Stays on his feet. Down the sideline. Stays in bounds with a flag down.
Tyler Lockett is really fun to watch. At the least, he'll light up the NFL as a returner.
He's number 2 in America right now in punt return average coming into tonight. This one might go backwards.
During the return, holding, number 15, receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, timeout.
So field position hurt a bit for K-State, but they've got the ball and a 2-touchdown lead when we come back to Manhattan.
Saturday Night Football on ABC. Brought to you by Buick. 5 expectation-shattering models. Another reason to experience the new Buick. Aflac. Ask about it at work. And the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
We showed you the rodeo club they have at Kansas State earlier. They have a parachute club as well, where crazy students jump out of perfectly good airplanes and land on the only non-military collegiate club's drop zone that's got its own plane. If you call up mom and dad and say, I've just picked up a new extracurricular activity. The chess club? No. I'm jumping out of planes. First and 10 for K-State. Inside their own 20-yard line. Nice move. DeMarcus Robinson in a small window picked up 4. Trey Flowers came up and missed the tackle at the line of scrimmage. But this seems like a vital segment of the game for Oklahoma State, Matt. Having given up 21 points after taking the 7-0 lead, they've got field position on their side. Can their defense get a stop?
They have to. This is a pivotal series right here. They have to be able to get a stop, and they have to get more points at their back, because right now they've lost any kind of momentum that's in this building is clearly on the side of Kansas State.
Waters well protected again. Long throw. Coming back to try and help out the quarterback is Lockett, but couldn't scoop it up, and an important 3rd down is next after we check in with Chris Cotter.
Bob, Matt, time for Dr. Pepper Conference Update. Over in the SEC, trying to bounce back from last week's disappointing loss at LSU over on ESPN. It's Ole Miss. Bo Wallace having a heck of a game, over 200 yards of total offense so far. This 50-yard strike to Evan Ingram, 24-14. Ole Miss on top, guys.
All right, Chris, thanks. 3rd down and a long 5. Kansas State already 2 for 2 on 3rd down. Again, only a 4-man rush. Waters, pocket starting to collapse. And he tried to squeeze it through traffic, and it's incomplete. And that's the first 3rd down stop for Oklahoma State, and a big one. 3 and out for the Wildcats.
And still a lot of time to throw. Howtow finally ends up getting there. They're only rushing 4. They bring it inside. Howtow 98 right here. You're going to see him, but look at how much time he had to be able to find an open receiver. He was trying to find somebody deep enough. He had him underneath, but it wouldn't have gotten the first down.
Nick Walsh, his first punt. This one into the wind. That's a pretty good kick. And on the dead run, stepping out of bounds at about the 37-yard line is Tyreek Hill. Good field position for Oklahoma State when we come back after they get a stop. We return with our Pacific Life game summary. And Tyreek Hill helped Oklahoma State get off to a very good start.
Yeah, and he's done it a variety of different ways. When they've handed him the ball, he's been able to use his speed, and then He's been able to get free a couple times down the field, but Jake Waters has been the difference for this Kansas State offense, really in the air and on the ground. And his feet, really, to me, that's the biggest difference. If you watch the last few weeks, he looks like he's 100% back.
Well, now it's back on Dax Garman. Good field position at the 37-yard line. Can the Cowboys do something with it? Right up the middle, Rennie Childs. Will Geary brought him down, but not before he picked up about 5 yards out to the 42.
Still going back to what we said last series, they had to get the stop, and then they did. And now they have to get points here, Shoes. They've got to be able to get some kind of momentum back on them. They're going to throw right here.
An 8-man box. Look at all those purple jerseys in the tackle box, and the ball stuck to the hand of Dax Garman.
Actually, that was good by Garman.
Quarterback's passing on forward before he lost possession. Incomplete pass.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he did there, but had he thrown that ball, that looked like it could have been a pick. It looked like the corner jumped that thing. I think he held on to it, because you could see on the outside you had Morgan Burns, and he was drawing a bead on that ball.
It's like a check swing that got called as a strike.
Back out of play, the count goes to 3 and 2.
Well, now it gets to 3rd and 5. So he avoids the turnover, but it is 3rd down, and the play clock winding down. And it might have been a timeout called by Mike Gundy on the sideline for Oklahoma State. It was.
The first charge time of the half.
So the first timeout called by Oklahoma State. We'll step aside for just a moment. Welcome back to Bill Snyder Family Stadium, where it's been a pretty dominant performance by the home team here in the first half. Bob Wischusen, Matt Millen, and Quinn Kesnick here in Manhattan. It's a 2-touchdown lead. And Q, you were only a few feet away from that offensive huddle with Mike Gundy while we were during the timeout.
I don't sense any confidence down here. Remember their first drive, 8 plays, 84 yards and a touchdown? That's all disappeared. You have a quarterback right now who's fearing this rush. He's starting to make poor decisions, and a young offense without confidence.
Well, they need to react well here on 3rd and 5. Here comes the blitz. Garman delivers a strike. Well, that'll build some confidence. A 3rd down conversion to the K-State 40-yard line. And it's James Washington, the true freshman, that comes up with the catch.
That's very well done, because Garman recognizes that he's getting pressure. And then they're running a double slant, and usually it's the second guy behind, and you got to be dead on, and Garman is right there, sets up this big first down.
That's a great sign for Oklahoma State. Play action. Garman looking for the home run ball. Watch Washington again, and it's incomplete.
Looks like I got a flag inside.
A flag back at the line.
Holding, number 58, offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Again, it's a negative play for Oklahoma State. The last several drives, they get some forward momentum going, they give up a sack. They get some forward momentum going, they commit a penalty. And now for a team that struggled to move the ball at times, it's 1st down and 20.
It's Koenig, number 58. You can see him right there. He's just holding on for dear life. He got too high. And Will Geary, number 60, who's a squatty body and a powerful guy, got under him. And the result was the hold.
The ball's on the ground. Rennie Childs tried to cover up his own fumble and does. But that will be a loss of about 7 more. So 2 plays after you hit the first down on 3rd to James Washington, you commit a penalty, and a fumble backs you up as well.
Well, this is what happens when you're just back in the lineup for the first time in a couple weeks. It's nothing there. Now it's 3rd and 30. And I don't know where you go in a playbook for 3rd and 30.
Drop play to Tyreek Hill. And he'll lose about 2 yards. And now it is 3rd and 30. DeCorey Johnson back in the lineup for the first time After missing the Texas game, he's been fighting ankle injuries all season, so he's a welcome addition to the K-State defense.
You know, just watching this Kansas State, this Oklahoma State offensive line is not very good. And when you have a problem up front, it compounds everything else, including the run game and the quarterback play.
Not a bad run by Tyreek Hill. The only problem was he started in Manhattan, had to get to Stillwater to pick up the first down. So it's going to be a punt for Oklahoma State as Tyler Lockett drops back deep to receive the punt. Quint?
He thinks he can break a return. Studying hang time, Oklahoma State's punter, 3.5 seconds. He thinks he's going to have enough real estate to get ahead of steam. Very confident yesterday in our meetings was Tyler Lockett.
Well, Kip Smith is #1 in the Big 12 and #9 in America in net punting average. And he will try and angle an end-over-end kick away from Lockett, but it bounces into the end zone. So Kip Smith can't pin Kansas State deep. They'll get it on the touchback. And Monday night, Andrew Luck and the AFC South leading Indianapolis Colts head to MetLife Stadium to take on Eli and the Giants. Monday Night Football on ESPN at 8:15 Eastern. No other night is Monday night. This game also available live on Watch ESPN. And these are two players that put up very similar numbers in college as well. How about that? 82 career touchdowns at Stanford for Andrew Luck, 81 at Ole Miss for Eli.
And the difference in the two is Andrew Luck can beat you with his feet. Andrew Luck is a very underrated runner. A tremendous arm, sees the whole field, smart. He's it.
How about that duel on Monday night, or on Sunday night with Ben Roethlisberger? Is that some quarterbacking between those two? They both looked unstoppable at times. Jake Waters buying time in the pocket. And that's complete. Right at the first down marker to Tyler Lockett. Let's go back down to Q.
It was interesting, the Oklahoma State defensive coordinator Glenn Spencer talking to his guys about the tempo of this ball game. He said they're not snapping the ball until about 10 or less to go in the play clock. And that kind of agrees with what Coach Snyder told us on Friday about time of possession. In this era of teams trying to get a lot of plays and go fast, this Kansas State team's actually trying to play slow.
There's a lot of lookover done by both offenses, which will take you down deep in the play clock. And this time they snap it with about 3. Lockett, little pop pass up the seam, incomplete. Now it's 3rd down and 1.5 yards. And Matt, I'm always wondering how aware front 7 players, especially pass rushers, are of the play clock. If they sense that it's down to 5, down to 2, down to 1, knowing that the ball's going to have to get snapped, wouldn't you get a better jump knowing the ball's going to be triggered?
Yeah, but more important than the clock, because that's really, you can't control that. What you can control and take lead from is the guy in front of you, and they have a better sense. And a lot of time it's the breathing of the offensive lineman that gives away the snap count. They'll hold their breath just a tad before it's ready to happen.
Waters on 3rd down. He has stood up. Jordan Stearns with a great read. He had 20 tackles last week against West Virginia, and he comes up to get a 3rd down stop here, and that's a big one for Oklahoma State. They'll get another crack with the ball before halftime.
That was a good hit. Stearns does a really nice job of fitting. Everybody has their gap of responsibility, and then the safety, they have to fit, which means you have to fill the hole as it presents itself inside out, from the inside of that from the center spot on out, and you just start with that angle, and he did a perfect job.
The punter goes down, and the ball takes a great hop, but may have hit an Oklahoma State Cowboy on that hop. There's a scramble for it. Who's got it? No flag came out in spite of the fact that Nick Walsh, the punter, went down. And it looks like Oklahoma State may maintain possession of the football, although K-State thinks they may have recovered.
3 rules of the kicking game. Don't be offsides, don't rough the kicker, and don't let the ball hit the ground. You never let the ball hit the ground as a returner, regardless of where it is. That is one of the possibilities that can happen. A loose ball takes all kinds of goofy bounces. Sometimes it hits your own guy. You go up and get that ball.
A very important call coming here.
Rolling on the field, this ball was illegal by the kicking team at the 41-yard line. First down, Oklahoma State.
If the ball is touched first by the kicking team, then the receiving team can catch it, they can possess it, they can fumble it, they can do whatever.
That's right.
And that ball is going to go back to the receiving team no matter what the outcome. So if they say that ball hit a K-State player first, there's no chance that Oklahoma State can lose possession.
It hits right there. Who's that? I can't tell if it's 13 or 18.
And lost in all of this, Matt, is that's only a 30-yard punt. So unless replay decides to change this ruling, and they say that it is definitive that maybe it hit a K-State player, or rather an Oklahoma State player first, it looks like they're going to go upstairs and take a look. If Oklahoma State does hold on to the football, they'll have great field position with 3:44 to go before halftime. But they will review, and this is a monumentally important call. This is either great field position for Oklahoma State or a giveaway, and K-State's got the ball.
They try to get out of the way. From that angle, I can't tell if it hit anybody. And from that angle, it looks like K-State may have been the first one to touch it. From the end zone angle, it looks like this one here, it might have.
You can't tell.
You can't tell. So the ruling on the field will probably stand.
Very difficult to tell. It looked like the ball may have grazed the helmet.
But there it doesn't.
Or maybe the right leg.
From there, it looks like the right leg, but from that other end zone, not this side one, looks like it may touch the leg. Right there, possibly. But when you go to the end zone, you can't tell.
It's Ramon Richards that was closest to it for Oklahoma State. Did it hit him?
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
That's a good call. He didn't confirm it. They went with what was on the field, and really, when you look at all the angles that we see, I don't know how you could overturn what was called on the field.
Nothing 100% definitive.
Correct.
So Oklahoma State begins the night with an 8-play, 84-yard touchdown drive. They made it look as easy as could be. They only have 100 yards on their last 25 plays, and they haven't scored since the opening possession. Big chance here, good field position before halftime.
Tyreek Hill is going to have to be the guy.
Garmin breaks a tackle. Great job to pick up any yardage on a play that could have easily gone for a loss. He ends up gaining 6. And coming up on the Capital One halftime report, John Saunders, Mac Brown, Danny Cannell standing by. Of course, we'll have a shakeup in the college football playoff rankings. We've got teams with huge impactful games going on tonight. TCU, of course, tested. How about the performance by the Gators in Jacksonville? Second down at 4. Tyreek Hill goes backwards with a flag down. He lost about 3. Ryan Mueller and Jonathan Truman, 2 former walk-ons, arguably the 2 best defensive players K-State has, made the stop, and it is holding against Oklahoma State.
Beating themselves. Mueller, I love that effort. Truman, they're the same guy.
Number 50, offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
So this time, Bill Snyder takes the penalty rather than the loss of 3 on second down. So it'll be second down and about 14 rather than third down and somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 or 8. Five-man rush. Garmin, strong throw, but it goes right through the hands of James Washington. And now it's third down and 14.
Yeah, when they do bring pressure, they may bring an extra guy, but they're playing a zone behind it. So they're not really giving you a lot of man coverage per se. Occasionally they'll do it, but for the most part, he's making a throw into zones. which is what he's going to get right now.
Oklahoma State only 2 for 6 on third down so far here in the first half. And they are 97th in the country in third down conversion percentage this season. So it's been a struggle all year. And they'll run it on 3rd and 14. Tyreek Hill weaving his way for what he can get. But again, that's Mike Gundy playing field position with 2.5 minutes to go in the first half. Elijah Lee, the true freshman, filling in at linebacker, replacing Michael Moore, was lost for the season to injury. He made the stop.
Elijah Lee is just a freshman, and he's got some skills. He's got instinct. He has some things you can't teach. He's not very big. He needs to put some weight on, and he will over the next few years.
Kansas State, it's their first shot. 30-second timeout.
So Kansas State calls a timeout to try and preserve some time, and we'll be gone for 30 seconds. Oklahoma State took the 7-0 lead. Kansas State with 21 unanswered. They've got the 2-touchdown lead. They're about to get the ball back as well. As again, a negative play, a penalty, hurts Oklahoma State. Lockett inside the 10-yard line with Kip Smith to punt. Wobbly kick, returnable for Lockett. He gets outside and is lassoed down at about the 25-yard line. So back to work for Jake Waters. He doesn't get rattled, Matt Miller.
No, he's got great poise, and he's got great presence in the pocket. And he manages that pocket extremely well. Not very fast. I mean, I should say he's not the fastest, not the quickest guy, but he has presence. And he understands what's around him and what's not around him, and he knows how to find an open guy. He's been the difference in this offense tonight.
This is a real danger zone as well for Oklahoma State, because Kansas State, with Jake Waters back on the field, got the 2-touchdown lead. They've got all the time in the world. 2:06 and 2 timeouts, and they start the third quarter with the ball. So if Kansas State could string together a couple of possessions here, they might be able to put this game away. Oklahoma State's defense really needs to get a stop before halftime, and that's a good start. They corral Marcus Robinson. No gain on first down.
Well, that's a really nice play right there by Seth Jacobs. He comes clean. Nobody blocks him. He has to make the play, and he does. He sets up a 2nd and 10. If you come unblocked, you better make the play.
See if Oklahoma State calls a timeout if they get a negative play or a stop for no gain on 2nd down. Waters will throw. High over the middle, and it's intercepted. The linebacker, Ryan Simmons, sagging back in coverage, gets the pick. What a big play for Oklahoma State with a flag thrown in the offensive backfield.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 92, defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
An absolute killer for the Cowboys. Jimmy Bean roughs the passer, and that wipes away the interception. This a better look at it, Matt. Is he supposed to be able to pull up there?
I give up any more with that. It's almost.
That's a tough call.
That's a tough call.
Jake Waters lets the ball go, and Jimmy Bean already has his shoulders lowered. That's a really tough call. So now Waters with new life. Long throw to the sideline. Can't find Glenn Gronkowski. It'll be 2nd down and 10, but that's a huge call.
Monster.
That was the first time that Jake Waters turned the ball over, potentially in nearly 5 games for Kansas State. And Oklahoma State just gets some momentum with a takeaway, and it gets wiped away on a personal foul that was right on the borderline. Pump fake for Waters. He can run. Weaving his way to the sideline and ends up getting bumped out picks up about 3 with 44 seconds to go in the first half. And here's another look.
Here's what I want you to watch. Watch when he starts right there. See, he could have pulled back, it looks like, when you look at it there. But he had already started his tackling motion right here. 1, 2, they'd say because he took that probably third step, you'd want him pulled off of that thing. But is what it is. That's the rule. That's what gets called.
Third down. Only a 3-man rush. The screen set up. DeMarcus Robinson nowhere to go. Good job by Oklahoma State to bottle him up. Force 4th down, and now Mike Gundy, I think, wants to call a timeout. So with 31 seconds to go in the half, Oklahoma State gets the clock stopped. It'll be 4th down.
Josh Furman's down. But Ryan Simmons made a very, very good play right there by not allowing him to get outside because there was a lot of green. And Simmons came up and forced it back inside and was able to stop the first. I want you to watch 52. Now he gets blocked, and that's okay because what he did was forced everything back inside. Had he not been able to do that, this play would not have been made. They would have gotten outside of him. He'd still be running and probably gotten the first.
With less than a minute to go, Oklahoma State has elected to take a timeout to avoid the 10-second runoff. It's their second charge timeout. 30 seconds in length. It's 4th down.
Well, they were calling timeout anyway to try and stop the clock, so we'll step aside for 30 seconds and return in a moment. Bob Wischusen, Matt Millen, Quinn Kesnick back in Manhattan, Kansas. The Wildcats set to punt it away, and Nick Walsh has that punt deflected. It will roll into Oklahoma State territory and eat up some clock. Very close for the Cowboys to getting a huge play on special teams. Looked like Sam Wren may have just deflected it, but it squeezed out about 22 yards of field position even after it was hit by Wren.
1, 2. He took his good old time. I think that's...
Was it Wren? Maybe Ramon Richards? Now check that Jordan Stearns, the safety, who might have gotten his fingertips on the ball. Let's head down to Quinn.
I think that was a situation where their staff was unhappy with how many steps the punter took.
Exactly.
Should have been catch, 1 step and gone.
The back's gone and still has 1 timeout. 20 seconds to try and get in the field goal range. He'll throw the deep ball. Trying to run under it is Washington. Check that. Tyreek Hill, and almost did. Hill had a step, but Garmin couldn't put enough air under the ball for Tyreek Hill to run under it. It'll be 2nd down with 13 seconds to go.
Is he going to come behind us or not really? No, he just wants to.
Running play with Brenny Childs. That'll stop the clock on the 1st down with 8 seconds to go. Oklahoma State still with 1 timeout, so if they get set quickly and snap the ball, no, it looks like they'll call timeout here.
Timeout. Oklahoma State.
It's a gain of 13.
And final of the half. 30-second timeout.
And Matt, I would have thought trying to quickly snap the ball and hold on to your timeout would give you the full playbook at your disposal, and then maybe call the timeout to get your field goal unit out there. You surprised that Mike Gundy spent the time out there?
Yeah, I'm surprised. They could have tried to hurt the line of scrimmage right there, take a snap, either kill it right there and get to 7 seconds or 6 seconds. That way you can make a throw to the middle of the field and use a timeout.
Give yourself up and call timeout if you want. Now you have to go to the sideline.
Exactly. So even though they're going to stop the clock for a 1st down, it's going to go right away. And if you get any kind of, if you get 15, 20 yards.
Remember too, the new rule that was enacted last year.
Right.
If this play takes more than 5 seconds, if there's 2 seconds or less on the clock, even if it's stopped after the 1st down, you can't spike it. You'd have to just throw a Hail Mary. You only get 1 snap if the clock is stopped and there's 2 seconds or less on the clock.
I don't like that rule.
So without a timeout, it does handcuff Oklahoma State here with 8 seconds to go. Garmin pretty much has to go to the sideline. 3 receivers to the near sideline. He's just going to throw it in the end zone.
He has to there.
And hope for the best. It's tipped around, and it is intercepted. It is intercepted. Almost snatched away. Marcel Aitman absolutely had a chance at the Hail Mary tip for a possible touchdown. And instead, Dylan Schellenberg comes up with the interception. How close was this to Oklahoma State coming up with 6? Boy, the last thing that you want if you're Kansas State is Dante Barnett to tip that ball up in the air. So Kansas State with a 21-7 lead at halftime, and the Wildcats start the third quarter with the football as well. We'll head to the studio and our Capital One halftime report following these messages. You're watching ESPN Saturday Night Football on ABC.